Good afternoon. This is your friend. Query error. What is this query error? Okay. Good. Is your friend back? There's some error. I think what error? I don't know. Well, this is my certification. I'm just showing there's some error on this. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everything. I don't know what time you asked there. It's in here. Good afternoon here. No problem. After a long shot, I'm just trying to be in touch with you professionally. After 12th September 2020, when I was involved in accident, I'm just trying to be a little busy on this account because to keep off from some ailments, it's better to be busy, and I'm trying to be busy with you with various issues as I left on that day. That was September 12th, 2020, when I was involved in accident and I had to undergo two major surgical operations of my left leg at ankle as well as on hips. No problem, life is like that. I am getting little recovered, means not fully recovered. I can little walk with a stick. I can walk for say 20-25 minutes just with anchorage of stick, though it's now more than 4 months and it's terrible time. I have observed I have been in bed for more than 2 months, and then with medical assistance I tried to get better. Then I got spondylosis, and now I feel something upset all the time, early morning to evening. Even then, life has to move. It's no use to stop life. So I try to share with you my thoughts again. I have been sharing thoughts of COVID-19 with you every day, almost every day. Though that's something else, of course, that's a national as well as international issue. But that's the biggest issue currently, If we keep ourselves up from that, we do not do justice to our profession, to our society, to our nation, to our whole world. That's a very important point, means we have to be with everybody. And that's what, we have been. It's really wonderful time that I try to pass time on bed just with ailments, and then gradually jumping on or shifting to computers. Yet I'm not fully absolutely fully back 100%, but let us do something for someone. The title of this talk today is, this is professional talk, and title is Civil Field Engineering, General Designs, Construction, Organizations, Communications, Coordination, Project Quality. Why should we be behind quality of concrete standard, material and concrete standard works? And contracts, there's so many, terms in that. We can talk anyone, and not necessarily we should be bound by one or other because it's profession. And I consider that social problems like COVID-19, world problems like COVID-19 is also on top of everything. I try to invest time on that as well, maybe because people are not very serious on that issue, but we should be serious on those issues. It's very important. Because if people are not healthy, as we say in our subjects, health, safety and environment, which is our first subject above all engineering, first priority means, I do not say it's on top of every subject, but first priority based subject is HSC, we call health, safety and environment. Every engineer should take care of that, and every citizen of world should take care of that. But how far we are taking care of that, that's a question mark. That's why I also keep all these URLs which previously I used on these videos, I posted on this text of this video. You can go and see that. And this is in sequence. This video is sequence and number is there 236 or whatever it is. And why say I want to just to link back time just past 4 months. I have been posting these videos on Structural Engineering Forum of India also, but there was some problem in that. I discontinued that for a couple of months. I don't know whether I shall be back on that or no, but on Facebook I am back, and I try to give you my opinions, my expertise opinion, my experience, and whatever you can say, it should be. Engineering is very vast, and now we have seen in our country, particularly India, Bharat. I'm not going to allege upon someone, but it is normal situation that we always have been behind quality. Of course, progress is there. It's seen, the progress is seen everywhere in all countries. So quality is more better there than here. That's the point, and I am really very serious on this issue. Quality is no joke, just like safety is no joke. We say safety is the responsibility of everybody, whoever is present here in that area where work is going on, or it's everyday safety also for everybody, even though they are not on job. That's right. Are we safe? That's the question. Why are we not safe? And you can say quality in safety as well. It's not simply safety. Quality in safety as well is also important. It's also most prime, and quality in system as well. We can say it's not quality control I'm talking about. I'm talking about quality system. Quality system is much more important than quality control. Quality control exists everywhere in all professions, in all fields, and that depends upon what work you are doing: mechanical work, electrical work, civil work, architectural work, or whatever work you are doing, you're performing. It depends upon that. But system is something else. There's a difference between quality system and quality control or quality work. I'm not very much talking about quality control here, because quality control, it depends, it varies from item to item and subject to subject and chance to chance and opposite of it. But system as a whole is very important, because it encroaches on all subjects. It encroaches, or I should not say encroach, it covers, its scope goes to everywhere, in every subject, in every discipline, every branches of engineering and non-engineering as well. It could be ISO 9000 quality, or it could be Sigma, or it could be whatever you use, that's up to you. But in principle, it's same everywhere. Principle is same. We cannot deny that fact. Even if you're doing design in engineering, you cannot simply say I'm a designer. You have to define first, are you taking control of quality and probable safety of people as well. You should keep in your mind while designing also these spheres like safety as well as quality. Your design shall provide quality work on site. You cannot simply rely upon those who are going to use your drawings and your details on site and just say, okay, they will take care of themselves. No, it's not that. Your designs must speak a lot. Same thing, work done on site, there's a gap between design and site work. There's a gap, which gap is very long train, you can say. It's like on a plant and refinery, see process train they call it. In process area they call it process train. Yes, that's right, process train they call it. But that train is very important, because it has a lot of potential behind that. That train is no joke. Means each and every part and each and every circuit, you can say, or each unit or each vessel or each, you can say, machine should function properly, so that whole system works properly. Even failure of a single person in a single unit leads to complete failure of train. Same thing lies here in our construction engineering, civil engineering, or mechanical engineering, or electrical engineering, or some other engineering, you can say. Is that wrong? Don't you accept procedures? You can take example of a train which moves on railway track. Say one bogie is out, it derails. What shall happen to the whole system? You can say train derail and there's accident. Yes, accident was caused because of derailing of one bogie. Same thing is here. You can, though you may not be noting that, you may not be noting that one, but it happens that you did not take care of that one. You ignored due to whatever reason. There can be no reason. Means there is no one point you can say a project is going on, say, for 2 years or 3 years. It's been going on and design has been going for a couple of months or 6 months or more. In that case, there will be many hands changing in design. So say 6 people are working on a design and one does something, other does. They do not coordinate each other, and they say, okay, we have completed the design without even coordination. Because it's not easy once you start dealing of something or drawing something, and there are hundreds of drawings that produce designs. These hundreds of drawing should have hundreds of coordinations, but because it doesn't happen, there is no non-cohesive strength of non-cohesion of your activities you are doing. We don't coordinate with each other. Somebody goes on vacation, doesn't give complete details, so other guys are taking over that. It happens by hand transfer activities or hand over takeover and all that. It happens that you miss something, and that results in mistakes or errors which cannot be discovered same time it should have been. That's point we have to be very careful about, and that's why I say that there is a sequence. There is a sequence in engineering. There's a sequence in life. There's a sequence everywhere. We cannot simply in engineering. There's a sequence in medical. There's a sequence in US architecture. There's a sequence in chartered accountancy. There's a sequence in legal terms. There's a sequence everywhere. Nothing goes on without sequence, and that sequence is completed together, put together in a circuit is called system. What is system after all? What is work after all? What is contract after all? These are all systems. Doing work on site is a system, contract is a system, or you can say the contract documents is a complete system, and design is a system, and you can say methods are a system. Systems of system and different systems, combined system, and pool of systems, you can say everywhere this works. How long do we understand that? That's the point. Very good point. We should say what we should say about that. That's the point. Let me check whether it is moving or not. Because your video status changed from pre-live to live, live status received signals, video status changed from pre-live to pre-live. I don't start saying anything else. Let me see if saying something. Video status changed from pre-live to pre-live. Why is saying why is not giving me answer here? I don't know it's giving or not. Video status changed from pre-live to pre-live. What is saying? Well, I continue. I don't know. I don't know. I waste my time talking. I can't say that. I'm just keeping cap because temperatures are cold, and of course I cannot tolerate cold. So don't take it, otherwise I'm weak cap because this cap is out there. I can't stand. Well, it's fine. I'm trying to talk about the systems. I was talking about systems. We cannot understand systems are defined in books or something. Everybody has to understand it. Say system is system. You have to understand process. You have to understand design. You have to understand construction. You have to understand methods. You understand everything, and then you put together your way. You define your system. Don't worry about project manager or sales. Don't worry about something else. Don't worry about manager or leadership. First is you are your own leader. First of all, you see that. Can you lead yourself? If you cannot lead, this is not easy. No. You have to lead yourself. That's first thing. You are your own leader. Don't worry about other leaders. You are leader. What your mind says, that leads you. Whatever you start, that's a lead. You start yourself something. Maybe you are fresh, doesn't matter. If you have a concept, you can do whatever you want to do. Concept is required. And moreover, analysis is required. Again, I say analysis is very, very important everywhere in life, in every sector, in every world life. Don't say about engineering, it's important. It's important everywhere. Everywhere. Analysis means, you can say, system of solutions, how to evolve solutions, how to streamline solutions, how to do solutions, how to break something and see. Analysis means there's a tree, there are branches, there are roots, there are stem, trunk and all that. You break every part and see how you take section of that and see what's inside that. You'll say, oh, there are so many, endogenous, you can say, or exogenous layers, and there is sap in that, and this and that. You call the exogenous trees, endogenous trees, all that you consider that, and sap is moving in that. So you say there's a system, so one layer is considered 1 year, and then 50 layers are the 50 years, 100 layers are the 100 years, and so sap is moving with all these layers, sap is moving all that, and that's what you may say like that. It's okay, fine, but what's that, At this point, you have to understand very well. Who is there? हेलो हाँ डॉक्टर साहब हाँ जी साईं राम जी मैं तो ऊपर था जरा अभी 1 मिनट नीचे जाना पड़ेगा मुझे नहीं मैं सबसे ऊपर उसको फ़ोन कर देता हूँ क्या चाहिए था आप ले लीजिए वो पता नहीं वो कहाँ होगी इस टाइम वैसे नंबर वो लिख लीजिए आप 8800 44 9081 449081 नहीं 90 मैं दोबारा बोल देता हूँ 8800 44 9081 ठीक है जी ओके नहीं तो मैं नीचे चला जाऊंगा फिर मैं वीडियो में बिजी था थोड़ा मैं लाइव था थोड़ा उस पे फेसबुक पे और भी बात करेंगे हाँ जी 9081 okay sorry some doctor called me well so my dear what I was saying system though is word very simple SYSTM system your computer itself is a system you can say my system is this and that what is there after all do you know that I'm not computer engineer but I understand layman wise there are bits and bytes and there's a language whatever you key in is not directly printed it goes through language bits and bytes and then 1 and 0 binary we call it binary language 101010 that means that is creation of computer system, language as a system, means junior system you can say. Then you can say machine language was that, and now we can say we are talking of design system and construction system, execution system, and this system and that system, tender system, invitation of tender system. Then they have converted every process or group of process into contract system. You may say whole world is a system now. We can say in our political system, Constitution of India is a system. All acts are systems. Parliament is a system. Judiciary is a system. Executive system. Society is a system. Democracy is a system. You know, systems exist everywhere. That's what we say. It's very really, you can say, we should, in a broad way, we should understand this. You cannot simply go to very narrow point immediately. But just like we say building, you know. People don't have clear understanding of buildings, structures, I mean to say, though there are thousands of structural engineers everywhere in the world. But structure engineer doesn't mean detailed work immediately. No, don't go to detailed work. Detailed work is last item. First item to understand what you want. For example, the body is there. Building is a body. My body is there. My head is there. Why my head is there? My head is original work. You can say. Then it is to be supported by whole system, from leg to stomach to chest, arms, face, and everything. These are parts of various systems, and complete body is called body as a system. And there are various organs in this, and all organs work together in integrity, in cohesiveness, and in coordination, and that's called a system. Such scope of this talk is not about body, but I'm just giving reference to how systems do work. This is a way of system. Same way, when we say building would be more about building. Build anything. You can build whatever you want to say. Building is a verb. Build it. You can say build it. But building is, you can say adjective also, because we just say building, structure. Bridge is not called building, it's called bridge. But all of the buildings are called buildings. So everything is building actually. Building a bridge, building a rail line. You can say the construction of a railway line. You can say that. It depends upon construction is what. Let us say what is construction. C-O-N con plus structure. Concentration on a structure, composition of structures together. There are so many structures in a structure of building or in bridges. We put together them into unit or system, and that is called construction. Construction, not just what you see on site. Construction means combination of all structures, units or elements together. That's called construction. Means sometimes we should keep off from what people understand and just think why this word has been generated. Generation of a word, or meaning of a relates to itself, you know. We call structure, we call construction, and we say structure in English language, we say structure in mathematics, structure in physics. Everywhere there is something that literally defines that issue. That is called system. So we have to be very clearly in preliminary understanding, which I explained many times before also. We should not be slave to something which we read from book, because who wrote book was also some person who were like us. There were professor, author, whoever one was, that had some kind of conception and thinking. Everybody you have to only generate out, you have to ooze out from your inner store. Inner, when I say store within you, within your soul, that I mean to say. Now I'm talking of soul. Soul is the prime element of our life. Without soul we cannot do anything. Soul is our energy, soul is our back, soul is our actual body runner, our body driver, our body operator. There's no soul, we cannot move. Same thing, every structure has certain soul that you put into that. Every structure has some soul you put into that, and that's very important. We have to really recognize this fact. If we don't recognize this fact, we do not stand anywhere. We say, for example, ordinary building, we say building is soil first of all. So why are you talking of soil? How soil is there? Soil is there, that's why we are going to construct a building. Because on soil itself, building will stand, will rest forever. But does it? Point is that. How it rests? This means soil is a part of building, very much part of a building. And without soil, we cannot do anything. And you see, soil and oil are linked together. Where is oil? Beneath soil. Oil is beneath soil, you understand that? If you go beneath sea and beneath ocean and beneath, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kilometers down, you will find reservoir of soils wherever it is located. So you can say soil is earth and earth is soil. Rock is earth and earth is rock. You can say whatever you can say. Only leave that portion where water's body exists, and that are seas and oceans and rivers. So why I'm to say, when you say structure, building structure, something, it's something very much philosophical as well as technical. Philosophical as well as technical means something very, very great it is, and we must have certain solid, you can say solid idea behind that, solid, you can say conception behind that. When you say, okay, we have to know first of all, can we construct a building somewhere? That's first question. You go, no, do it and we construct a building. See later on how it behaves. You can answer that. You must know that my building is going to successfully stand on that forever. That is first requirement. So what is that? That is system. You should understand part of system is start of a system. For the soil system, you may say soil is a system. Yes, it is a system. You may understand, you may not understand, but that's a fact. You may accept or don't accept. You have to accept. Ultimately, soil is a system. It's not simply soil, just oh, this is soil, this is dust. Why do you worry about this? You have to worry about this. Soil is a system. So many soils are there, so many types are there, rocks are there, and very classifications of rocks are there. For example, this is the igneous rocks and sedimentary rocks and metamorphic rocks, and dust is there, and you can say coarse sand is there, and fine sand is there, and so much is there. Peat soil is there, and this soil is there, clay soil is there, soil and your sand soil is there, silt is there. So there are so many classes. These are all engineering classes. We start with say, we'll talk of later. Now we're just saying why is system created means soil is a mixture. It's not exactly uniform. It might be uniform in beginning when earth was constructed, maybe I don't know when. Think of construction first. We are thinking of construction of building, construction this. First we have to think system. System is solar system, and you can say how many solar systems are there in the universe? I don't know, you don't know. Can I define how many systems are there? With certainty, no, I cannot define. And can you define how many systems are? Oh, we can say no. You can say, oh, there are 9 planets in the solar system. Yes, there are 9 planets. What is guaranteed? There are 9 only. And what's the guarantee? There is no solar system. We cannot define that. Scientists, astronomers are there. Nobody is so sure. What is leave it by now? I'm going to say why I'm saying solar system, because this is a system we call it. There's a fixed movement of every planet. It's you can say orbital movement as well as perpetual movement. They are moving with certain ratio, certain speed, such something. We know that. It's all fixed. Nothing can change. With time it moves, and this system is well understood by scientists, and it's been working since time when Earth was created. Think of Earth was created. This is a big issue. We simply say, oh, Earth was created by God. Yes, God has created this. Indeed, God has created the whole universe. Earth is there, but can we understand Earth? Earth is about, you can say approximately, I'm just saying tentatively, it's about 12,500 kilometer diameter ball. 12,500 kilometer diameter ball Earth is. What I mean is, while Sun, which is controller of universe, not universe exactly, controller of solar system, size of Sun? Might be you have not read it or heard it, but you can search it. It's not very unknown issue. It is, they say, you can say 1.3 billion kilometer. Size or diameter of Sun is 1.3 billion or 13 lakhs kilometer. So just think of how many Earths if you put together, you get that diameter. Can you think of that? 12,000, I say 13,000, let us say, forget 12,000, 13,000 kilometers diameter Earth, and that is 13 lakhs. 13 lakhs and 30,000, it's 1%. 13,000, 1 lakh, 1% is 1,000. So 13,000, 30,000. So it's 1% diameter of. So you place together, if say 111 Earth together, probably you get 100. You say 13,000 into 100. 13,000. So you can get diameter of Sun. Think of, if you want to fill Sun in, if you want to fill volume of Sun, if you find volume of Sun that is 13 lakh diameter, 30 lakh kilometer diameter, you can find spherical volume on that, and you find spherical volume of one Earth. You divide by that volume to this volume. How many Earths are required to fill in volume of Sun? So it's a question mark. Means how could God create that? Means God created Sun, God created Earth. Now, as an engineer, can I create 1 kilometer diameter Earth? Think of. As an engineer or scientist, can we build 1 kilometer diameter Earth? Forget 1 kilometer. Can we create or build 500-meter diameter Earth? Can we? We can't. No way. Because we can't produce a one room of, you can say, 3 meter by 3 meter and 3 meter height without a structural foundation and without availability of soil. So how shall you place that 500-meter diameter sphere? Where do you place that? How you erect that? Where, on which foundation shall it stay? Because planets are working in sky, in space. All are working in space. We know it. All 9 planets are working there in positions, relative astronomical positions, and movement from one to other is all fixed. Just like we can say Earth is moving at a speed of about 1800 km per hour on its perpetual axis, and it's moving without 1.25 lakhs km per hour around Sun in orbit. Do you know that? This Earth is in dynamic equilibrium, you can say circular dynamic equilibrium around a Sun, which we call orbit, Earth orbit around Sun, and that's 1.25 lakh km per hour, and it's on perpetual motion on its own. It is about 1800 km per hour. So there are 2 motions that's facing. One motion is on perpetual axis, and that's about 1800 km per hour, and other one is, it's moving like this, you can say, in one motion perpetual and one motion orbital, and in between there is the Sun, and it's moving like this. You can say it is my fingers are telling perpetual motion, and this movement of my thing, that this is orbital. So there are two forces, 2 motions, systems applied on Sun automatic. I'm sorry, on Earth automatically, and this happens with every other planet too. So these people do not need any stationary base, because these forces create certain bases. These forces, these dynamic forces, automatically create certain equilibrium motion, just like plane aeroplane moves. It propels itself in air, and it creates buoyancy effect. You can say equilibrium position while it's propelling, as well as its own weight towards gravity. It cannot come down because equilibrium status created. So that's the system, dynamic system it is. I'm calling dynamic. You can see whatever name in profession. I'm not challenging that. I'm not encountering that one. But I'm calling in commonly dynamic system. Just like we walk sometimes, and we say we don't fall, and we walk in a dynamic position. Even if we keep our arms like this, or we say I'm walking on one leg or something, or I'm driving a cycle. So it's all equilibrium position, dynamic motion, and equilibrium motion. Dynamic equilibrium. You can say dynamic equilibrium. We call it static equilibrium or stationary equilibrium, dynamic equilibrium, whatever you call it. Means we have to understand these systems. So when I say that Earth does like this, but our buildings don't do like that. Though our buildings are stationed or sited on Earth, but these buildings move also with same speed Earth is moving. Get my point? What I'm saying? Earth is moving with 1800 km per hour. So our buildings, we all also move with that speed on Earth's axis, so that we can see 24 hours, morning, evening, all we see. But the other motion, orbital, we takes 1 year to complete one orbit around Sun. Earth takes 1 year, and that's what we say. You have been moving for every day, every second is that speed of 1.25 lakh km per hour. That's point you can say is required. When you understand the point very, very seriously, it's no joke. It means it's very much analytical to understand that. That's what I'm trying to say. Analysis is very important in every affair of life. Analysis. By chance, I'm giving reference of COVID-19. COVID-19, till now, it's not analyzed properly. It's now around a month. Around a year. It is almost complete. When it's commissioned itself, and now till now whole world could not understand it logically, scientifically. What reason behind? Reason behind is lack of analysis. Nervousness, of course, does exist along with COVID-19. System is unknown. Same thing, system is unknown because system is trying to be understood, synthetically. They're not trying to understand analytically, which is basic requirement. I'm not scientist, I'm not doctor, but system is system. Thousands of scientists around world, lack of concentration, just nervousness, how to find some answer, how to find some information and submit to world. That's nervousness. It is natural impact also, you can say. Man is being taught work according to systems because God does not contravene in our systems. God never contravenes, never violates or never encroaches on systems. If a child is born in 9 months, it is born in 9 months. If you have to walk on your feet, you have to walk on your leg and feet. You cannot walk on your head. Your eyes only sees, your mind cannot see, your mind can understand. Your nose gives you ventilator. Your mouth and teeth are meant for eating and your tongue is used for taste and speaking. Your arms are used for physical work and your legs are used for walking and physical work as well. Your mind is controller of everything, it receives everything, it analyzes everything, synthesizes everything and gives back to you, do like that. So God has created humanity as a system and multiple organs and multiple combinations of systems coordinated together and you cannot fail in them. Even one organ, if impacted upon, it breaks all system of your body, just like happened with me. The fracture, so it happens with everybody. Somebody's mind is hemorrhage, something happens, so system is broken. All systems lack strength in working that environment. That's what we have to really understand. Well, my concentration is on explaining to you what I want to intend to tell you, that life is not what we read in books. Books are only teachers. But we have to teach ourselves. We have to teach self. And if we do not teach self and we say, no, I have to finish this job, I don't want to learn something additionally, I have to finish this job today because I am asked to do that. In that case, you cannot understand it. You just repeat same thing and same thing again and again, again and again. That doesn't give you basic requirement. Basic requirement means you have to understand complete theology of subject. I am talking theology of subject, or you can theory of subject. Theory and theology, there is no difference. Theory, we call it theory, and then we call it tutorial, or you call it practical, or you call it work, or you call it execution. Whatever you can call it, you can call it. There is no bar to that. Now, systems, just like I am talking to you through computer. If suppose there is no computer, I cannot talk to you. If there is no signals here in this dish and then further, I cannot communicate to you. So what all these are all systems. So we have to understand systems. Don't understand way it has been taught. Understand a way you are in. So I am talking about construction, I am talking about design, I am talking about organization, I am talking about contractorship, I am talking about, you can say, project quality, project quantity, and why should we comply with quality system. Quality system is very important one. Forget ISO 9000 or something else. It is everywhere, it was everywhere. We did not notice it. Quality has been a system all time. We did not notice it because we did not understand what system was, what requirement of quality is. System itself must be quality based. Quality based means something should be defined. Before being defined, it should be understood what you want to do. Once you understand what you want to do and you understand all ins and outs of your what you are going to do, you can write that, or you can understand that, and you can set sequences, write sequences in right way, and that is what is important. If you do that, you can say, yes, I got it, I do it, and I can amend it also. Yes, amendment is not a bar. You can amend whatever you want to amend. There's nothing wrong with that. You remember time we used to write? You remember or don't remember? We used to write by hands, by pen, by pencil, and by Roshanai ink. and before that we use column, right? So gradually evolution happened, and we are now just doing key in and we say work is over. Ultimately it's development, it is evolution. We have heard evolution, theory of evolution, all we know. So why I am saying all this? We have to evolve our mind, we have to question our mind, we have to question ourselves, everyone. You question, you know it. Sometimes you are in nervous mood, you are not able to answer something, and you must answer somewhere, otherwise you will lose job. So your mind helps you, your soul helps you. That's also a system. If you are patient, you have no nervous angle, and you sit down calmly and you will get answer of your problem, sometimes automatically, and sometimes with little effort. You will get answer to that one. This is all natural principle. Research are based on such answers. Research are not based on mechanism or based on hard work. These are based on your purity of soul. You get answers because there is no impurity in your soul, in your mind. If your soul is having impurity, its first of all its strength would be reduced, and then it will impact on application and how mechanism of our mind works. It will hamper that. It will create obstacles in various systems within mind itself. Left hemisphere and right hemisphere, we understand in medical sciences that left hemisphere is connected to right hand and right hemisphere is connected to left hand. We know in this, and how these are, we know logically. I'm not saying I know that the right hemisphere is meant for, because of left connection. Right hemisphere is spiritual type, or you can say it is kind of synthetic operation where gets information from nature. This circuit like that, nature passes its information to a right hemisphere, and right hemisphere is synthetic one, it transfers it to left one, and also left hemisphere does it to your right one. So when right hemisphere transmits that information to left one, left transmits to right hand, and right hand is used for work and left hand is used for something. Though some people are left-handed something else, but basically right one is used for practical work or work application, while left is used just for thinking further and further. Anything logical which you have done, that comes from your left one, and right is receiving signals. So you can say it that way. The system exists in your mind, it exists in your head, it exists in even if you see eyes. Some countries say driving on left side, some countries say driving on right side. Both countries are working. If you go to America, you find the people are driving on right side of carriageway, while if you go to Gulf countries, you will find people driving on right side of carriageway. If you go to England, you will find people driving on left side of that one. So if you go to China, you will find people driving right side of them. So somewhere left and somewhere right, but if you drive on right side, that is considered positive, that's considered better than driving on left side, because of eye effect. Eye is connected to your mind, and your mind tells you what to do. So, well, it's something else. I'm just trying to say how systems do work. Now, I'm a field man. I'm in engineering. I know engineering is a term, but I'm a very small guy. I'm a very, very small guy, and I don't claim something very, very high. And I simply say that I think over and speak about. I think over, speak about applications of engineering, practice of engineering, design in engineering, execution in engineering, quality in engineering, safety in engineering, business in engineering, whatever you call it, all is named engineering. It covers all systems within this. There are many branches of engineering, around 15 or more, and within them there are various civil, electrical, mechanical, agricultural, aerospace, electronics, and like that you can say there are many, and everyone has got many subjects, and these subjects cover many aspects of engineering. So engineering is a system in itself, though it's not complete system, yet it's system. And if you understand that one, we can say yes, we got it, but it's lifelong system. What we learn in our education time, whatever level of education you can say, up to doctoral, postdoctoral level, it doesn't mean that is useful. It doesn't mean, and it is not, is also not denied that it can be used. Both are here. It shall be used, it can be used, it may be used, it may not be used, both are there. Because you cannot jump in every sector of life and work there, because you have to get yourself molded to somewhere, so that you can do something in that one, from amendment point of view, modification point of view, research point of view, or doing system making point of view, systemization point of view. That's what it's, So when you do, for example, you take buildings, example I'm saying, building, people say, oh, it's nothing, just foundation and some columns, some beams, and they call slabs, and it's done. Yes, for them it's okay, because they see like that. It's not fault of those people, because what they see, they will say that. As non-engineer, or you can say non-civil engineer, they see that. What mechanical do, I don't know what they do exactly, because I see what machines are there, what type of works are there, how they are designed, how they are contemplated. I cannot answer, because I'm not mechanical. I cannot answer about electrical. I cannot answer about other disciplines except elementary understanding. Same thing I say in civil engineering, or you can say buildings oriented engineering, or bridge oriented engineering, you can say railway oriented engineering, environment oriented engineering, or wherever you see irrigation, dam, or roads, all those are parts or scope of civil engineering, or structure itself is a part of civil engineering. Those structural engineers deny that, but denial is not authority of everyone. Structure is a part of engineering. So when those people say, oh, just foundations, columns, beams, etc., and building is done, they are right. Their contemplation power is only that much. Just like they see some film and say, oh, hero is that and heroine is that and this is story and that's it. They used to say 50 years back down, oh, this is hero, he did good story, good acting, and his film is very good. A film doesn't belong to hero or heroine, film belongs to a producer, but people used to say, oh, this is the same thing as here. Now they try to understand, they are directors, they are writers, and there are so many, so can say, professionals. Hero and heroines are only front line workers. I should say workers. They work only on front line. They may mind it, let them mind it. Fact is fact. Just like I am frontline worker, you may be frontline worker, doctors and nurses are frontline workers, and there will be doctor and nurses also at director level or other level. So there may be some direct level engineer also, some management engineer also, organization engineer also. It happens, it keeps on moving in life, and you get various levels in your organization chart. So what I'm trying to state here is, system is not something defined. You define yourself. If you are in that power, if you are in that status, you can define. You have that high level responsibility, like you can take responsibility of system definition and owning some project and all liability of that project. You are in higher position. System, every project is different, and every you can say system is different. Every system has certain ins and outs, but finances are required. You cannot change financing system. Finances are required for everything. So finance itself is a system. This means finance, and you can say starting with finance, you can say, because without finances you cannot do anything. Or finances means budgeting. Finances and budgeting are linked, and budgeting and cost controls are linked. So finances, budgeted, cost controls are linked. And then in that case, the finance are linked, budget is linked, and budget is linked, then you can say something else is also linked. And then we can say, all right, we say cost is linked. So cost is linked, cost control or cost management or organization linked, means then quality is linked and quantity is linked. Because what cost you are going to spend on something depends on quantity or volume of quantity, you can say, what type of material, what quantity of material, quantification, and what quality of item you are going to do on that on that system, on that project. So it is linked to so many other disciplines, but without cost you cannot do anything. That's the point. Quality you have to create in finances itself. What I'm trying to say, that your financing system should also have quality of how to organize. You cannot blindly leave finance and okay, take this and go. No, you cannot do that. What stage you need this finance, that's important. How much finance do you need at optimal level so that you do not waste our finance. That's important. I cannot keep finance, okay, I'm taking this fine, I'm taking loan and keeping at home. I can't do that. I have to spend that somewhere to get returns. And that's called risk and liability also. If I lose that, it's risk. If I gain that, that's fine. So my finance or money that I get for a project must be immediately utilized. How can I keep it without that? Because even one day costs. So financial planning, there's one cost planning and financial planning I linked with a club together. It starts from very beginning. So cost of finance itself. Cost of finance itself is a very important issue. It's not simply finance. One is capital. This finance we need for this project. But how much finance do we need for that financing? And from where does come? Then you have to merge that cost into this financing. So cost arguments, cost of this arguments. So you have to control that as a part of engineering. If you don't understand that, you cannot organize. Only technical item which you exclude engineering technology, that's not enough. That comes at second stage. But you have to understand. So if you want to finance something, then you have to understand what sort of project is required. What sort of functional project do you need? It's not simply detailed, what sort of building you need. What's use of this building? Is it feasible or not? It's legal or not? It's necessary or not? Or what does client require? What does feasible report says? And feasible is not available, then you have to design, or you have to form, you have to compose, you have to research on, you have to do every contemplation on to make one document that is called feasibility report, feasibility survey, or you give it doesn't matter. So that point is very important. If a report is available, everybody can understand what's in mind of owner means promoter, and what's in mind of this person who is involved with this owner professionally. Means this professional person can advise owner what you should do, what you should not do, how much finance do you need in just starting a project, and at gradual stages, in frequent stages. Say one project is going to take 2 years or 3 years or 4 years. At every 3 months or 2 months, what degree of money, what percentage of money shall you require to keep your project run smooth, and from which sources can you get that legally? You can take it from bank, you can take it from direct financing, or you to decide with their chartered accountants, advocates, or others to advise. These experts are there, so you get advice from them. But decision is to be made by owner and professionals, because it's question of professionalization of project. You can say professionalization of project. It's not blank project. It's not layman project. It's a project where professional minds do work. That's very important point. We have to start from root of a tree. You cannot simply go to branch and say, I pick up a fruit and it's my fruit. No, it's not yours. Tree has given you. But how tree gave you? Tree started from roots. And where are those roots? Roots are in soil. Again I say, as an engineer, you should interconnect yourself to others. For example, now, see, the latest is this, I call them professionals. Actually, people mind it, but I say our farming professionals. These, do you call them kisan or farmer? Farmer, okay, fine, that's what, but I say they are farming professionals. So they are doing something which is very basics, elementary and foundational. You cannot simply say, oh no, they are demanding something wrong. I'm not justifying what demands they are making or what, but I'm saying they are involved in agriculture. This is a system, yes, they're involved here. Without them, you cannot use these products of grain in market and vegetables in market. So you are dependent on them. Means they don't cost, they don't control, they don't do anything, because their work is different type. They depend on nature, they depend on rain, they depend on irrigation system if available. And also there is a risk, and that risk is thunderstorm, risk is very cold weather, risk is fresh, we call it mist, or ice, snow. These are also, and those people know very well. So this is a part of same way risk control or risk factor or analysis. So you can say to some extent they are technical people. They may not be having technical qualification, but they are technically oriented because there is a system. They understand what nature does and what my soil can give me, what this fertilizer can give me, how much improvement this fertilizer can bring to my soil, and how much it can spoil soil. They understand both improvement of soil, upgrading soil, and also due to bad chemicals in fertilizer, how this soil can be damaged and how it can come back again, how it can be reinstated or can never be reinstated. Those people know very well. So that's why I call them professional, farming professional. There is a complete branch of agricultural engineering involved now, so we should respect them as well. So there is a system. They have been working in that field for decades, not for decades, for centuries. At that time there was no agriculture engineering, but now it is. So they can be related to that, they can be linked to that, and we may give professional word to them. You are professional farming organizations, farming families and organizations. Like that I'm saying, you have to define your way. Your way, don't depend upon others what they say, because your mind is now developed. Engineering mind is very strong, it's very much developed. Degree of analysis, power of analysis that an engineer enjoys, no other professional enjoys. Do you know that? Analytical power, engineer has got is immense, more than all other professionals. They can analyze anything, whatever you want you can analyze, whatever circumstance. They should be given opportunity. I have seen these reporters and journalists, they raise questions very childish, like means they never think how to contradict, how to cross it, how to raise further questions in professional way. They do not know that. They may be TV journalists or they may be YouTubers. They just go on asking what is okay, what is that, what is. You don't find any enthusiasm in that questioning because absence of analytical skill. Journalism doesn't provide you or equip you with analytical skill, and which is much more required in life. You see, time now is 3:46. Okay, no problem. I just tried to give you some small talk today, but no problem. What to do when you start talking energetic? Last time you remember I used to talk 3 hours, sometimes 4 hours, sometimes 5 hours, depending on the early fresh mind. But no problem. I'll gradually take that into again. So I started to do something to you so that you do not keep off track. I just want to bring you back to track, because profession is never ending. It never ends. It goes on moving and moving. Life goes on moving and moving. Technologies keep on coming. Everything happens, and we have to get them into our own. And our brain should pick them up. Our experience should pick them up, and this should experience our enrich our experience. And we must know that, and we have to keep eyes on all what's happening in all parts of the world. That's also important, because there are so many countries which are exploring certain economy now, and they are trying to explore more and more projects. And that's, for example, Saudi Arab is exploring many 3 trillion projects in coming decades. So like that, you have to keep an eye everywhere. What's Lebanon is in turmoil, and Iraq is in turmoil, and Gulf, they have lost so much in COVID-19, and we have also lost something, so we have not done well. And we have to keep an eye on what's happening in for example, COVID example. Though it's not related to, but it's very much related humanity wise. We are here having only about 15% testing. You can say, what do you mean by that? I mean to say, we have 130 crore people, but only 15% have been tested, or 14% have been tested. Can you trust that? But that's a fact. You say it's more than 10 months. And as a nation, we have tested only 10% or 12%, 15% people. Is that efficient? You call it efficiency. In engineering, we don't call it efficiency. How can you say you are going to decide certain policy, or you're going to say we got victorious because we tested only 14-15% people? Let's see, we have controlled everything. How can you say that? Can you say in engineering, oh, I have done 15% project complete and my project is one, my project on track? Yes, if it is time-wise 50%, fine, I agree. But oh, we have done it, we have completed everything. It's called nonsense. It's called stupidity, I say. Well, I'm just trying to say in our progress measurement we do same. There's a cost chart, there's a time chart, something's there, schedules are there. Some schedules are based on activities, some schedules are based on cost control, some are, it depends upon you how you move. If you say no, time I'm measuring what time is left, what has gone, how much work I have done, how much it will take more. That's time schedule, we call it time schedule based on time activity, and some schedule based on cost control activity or cost movement activity. Both are there. It's up to you and your whole team, contractor, engineer, owner. How you move forward is up on that. That's more important than something else. If you understand that, fine. If you don't understand, we have to understand. You see, understanding or what to understand, there are so many courses. These I don't believe them. Leadership, how to understand leadership, then how to understand management, how to understand organization, how to understand Bitcoin. There's so many, you can say, what I should say, potential-less activities are going on. Do these people have experience? Leadership, somebody says leadership, I'm teaching you leadership. How can you teach leadership? My first question is, how much experience do you have in leadership? What is leadership? Everybody is leader. Engineer is born leader. Without leadership, you cannot become engineer. You think your subjects, your conception, your brilliance, your vistas of mind that are developed since a childhood and further developed during education of engineering, you think you are not leader? It depends upon in which field you are leader. Yes, I'm not talking of political leaders. I'm talking of mind leaders. Every educated person who has adequate level of education is mind leader. One can lead your mind yourself. One can lead his mind itself. I cannot say no. If I am educated one, say I am an engineer, a civil engineer. Okay, when I was fresh, too early it was, I still leadership, but I started leadership stage because I had to think of material quantity. I have to think of material specification. I have to think of how to understand human resources. I have to think of how to use equipment. I have to see how you manage times, how to understand time study, how to understand time itself, how to, you can say, manage time, how to study time. It happens, you don't know how a crane shall work, you don't know how workers shall work, you don't know how much time this machine takes for this activity. In that case, you have to see that practical without telling someone, I'm going to do that. You tell operator, okay, do this job and I'm watching this or I'll come back to you. And you believe that that person won't waste time. If that person wastes time, then you have to keep that in mind also. Don't waste time, I am watching you. Whatever you can say. So that person says take half an hour and says, I rotate this machine boom 5 times and do this work. So you know how many minutes does it take in that activity. That is called time study. Machine time study, activity time study, system time study, and how much it takes out taking one chiller to that room, how many rotations that machine operator did and how many minutes it consumed. This kind of study nobody would teach you. Because every machine is different, every operator is different, old machine, new machine, it depends. But idea you should get. That is called education, leadership education. In every act, in every activity, in field, you have to do that. How every human resource worker, how do they work? How much work this mason does in one day, how much work this helper does in one day, how much work this steel fixer works in one day. These are all studies. It's not you are studying because you have to write a report only. Report is different part, that's the record, but you learn something there. Oh, there are 10 masons and I checked them, I observed them, all 10 were having different efficiencies, different outputs. Yes, that's what is required. If you understand practically what's output of human resources is, what's output of equipment is, what's output of material is, how much cost and how you have to coordinate and how much time did you take and how you manage, organize that, That is called self-learning, and that is called actually leadership study, because you are learning yourself and you are earning yourself. Earning knowledge is not money. Earning knowledge. That knowledge is yours. Once you do it practically, it's a tutorial, it's a kind of laboratory experience. There is no teacher, there's no professor, there's no guide, there's no instructor, there's no tutor, but you are doing it. So I call it self-study. And professionals like engineers, they work on fields for decades and do projects. You think on projects you can't do, you sleep? No, you don't sleep. You will not be allowed to be slept. You will not be allowed to be slept. You can't sleep there. You will stop others from sleeping. You have to be there. Okay, you can take space of rest and this. You can say that I am taking some rest, pause and this and that. That is different. But you can't sleep. Even you go to rest in bed, your mind will be half an hour sometime in a critical mood. You will think of how can I solve this problem tomorrow. It's all part of your build-up, your leadership build-up. Because you do not like to waste your time in referring to others to find a solution. You want to make yourself reference and you apply additional efforts to get that problem out. That is what is required. Really speaking, sometimes it is very easy and sometimes it's really very difficult. Problems are there. Sometimes it happens that we are too busy whole day. We cannot concentrate on those problems. All problems we cannot uniformly concentrate. But problems do have answer. Suppose you have 25 issues in a day and you cannot attend all, so you can't find solutions to all. This happens. This is very much practical, very much natural. So don't consider everything is a problem and everything is a solution itself. Every problem carries a solution with it, but we have to see that. Just like we say, there are so many terms, so many words which carry meaning in their own analytical language. Means if you understand them artically, not as clerk only, understand them artically, what's article meaning of that, you will find that meaning of that term is hidden within that word itself. This happens. For example, simply you can say engineer. Engineer is a term, it's a designation, but I consider something else. What is engineer? En stands for in also. Jain. This is language, some other language. This language is some other language which means intelligent or genius. Engineer. Ingenious. A person who must be a genius can be an engineer, or who is genius can be an engineer. It doesn't mean that you have degree. This means your mind can do something which others cannot do, and logically you do it, systematically you do it. That is called engineer. Yes, there is designation, there is education, there is everything. I'm not going to that. I'm just trying to give you some article meaning, and that is what we say engineer. Like every term has certain meaning. That meaning, if we understand, we can answer everything. And this is what I say, if you go that way, don't be in panic if you don't understand. Simple. If you do not understand, don't enter into panic world. Try to concentrate on that. That's it. Maybe sometime you can't, but don't worry. Sometimes 1%, 2% happens. But when you get reference or answer in some definition, certainly you understand. You would understand. Life teaches everybody. A time comes when you become self-oriented teacher. And that is what profession requires. Otherwise you can never be professional. Never be. Doctor has to understand itself. Engineer has to understand itself. Every professional, while you go on ascending of your waist, ascending on your stair, you become gradually self-teacher. And self-teacher means professional. You cannot all time open books, you think only. If engineer open books all time, engineer cannot do work. I am telling you. Think logically, scientifically, calculation wise, you get answer. What is this? This is engineering. Means engineer it. Enter problem into your mind and try to use your mind to solve the problem. Your mind is top computer of this universe. It will resolve it. Of course, you will use computer for that purpose, but that computer is inferior to your mind because you cannot understand your mind. You find solutions through your mind. You also understand your computer system and your mind accepts that. But your computer cannot accept your mind. But one time is logically and scientifically and system wise you understand that, it shall work for you. So you do not worry about how many degrees you are going to win, how much you are going to study. Study everything cleverly, deeply, analytically. Analytically is very important to understand. If you use analytical approach, you will find every answer to every problem. That is what my conclusion is, and many years of my experience. You can say I passed my engineering diploma in 1974. I'm very clear. I passed my schooling in 1971, diploma in 1974, and my section A and section B of Institution of Engineers India, there's a degree I passed in 1980. Since then, you can say, you just calculate from 1980 itself, it's around more than 40 years. Forget diploma. 1980 to 2020, it's around more than 40 years. In more than 40 years, I enjoyed a lot, not picnic. I enjoyed profession. I enjoyed, of course, I encountered many problems, but I enjoyed my work. I never counted hours, means 8 hours or 10 hours. I am not that sort of person. Because when you are busy in work, engineering gives you happiness of mind. You understand that. You try to understand. If you do not work hard or you do not find interest in engineering, I think you can never become an engineer. Engineering by designation is something else. I'm talking of real engineer. Managers, you will find many managers, but real engineers you can't find. And it's also saying that a manager who does not know engineering can never become an engineer, but a person who is an engineer can become a manager, because manager job is indirect job. Real job is engineer's job. Doctor, nobody can be doctor without experience, without knowledge. Mind is required there in medical also, but different type of mind. They are bound by procedures. So, but in engineering, procedures are created by thinking. Procedures are created by thinking what way you plan to do something, and when you decide to do something, one option is there, second option is there, 3 options, 4 options, 5 options. It's up to you how far you can go. Contractor has one option, you have another option, your junior has another option, his colleague has another option, your colleague. So there are many ways to do something, and best way you select and you define that, and that is called method or procedure of doing something. It can be design, it can be execution, it can be prosecution, or it can be art also. Engineering is something different. It's not what you think is engineering. Engineering is invisible, in fact. Real engineering is invisible to common person. Yes, it is visible to engineers, of course, or to professionals, but the common person who has no link to engineering, engineering is only what you see on ground. Oh, railway track, oh, see train is going, see flight is there. That person knows that part of, oh, road is there. See silver line is there. For that person, that is engineering. For others who are linked in that, for them that's part of engineering. Why I say building is being constructed, it's only a part of engineering. It's not a complete engineering. Complete engineering is a complete train from start of conception of from its time when it was reported feasibility reported and budget was provided, and now it's delivered. So there are so many instances, so many milestones used, a combination of these milestones, sum up of these milestones led to creation or delivery of the building. It's called strain, process strain. So many fields are there, so many subjects are included that, and that's what's called engineering. So it's not ever, you see, just like a film, there are so many stages, and our engineering also so many stages. But if you explain to them, tell them, they do not believe that, they believe only certain people who are involved in construction only, and for them that's all. And where is problem? There is a problem here. This is why I call the problem, particularly public dealing, because public says something and engineers say something else. Yes, sometimes clash exists because it's not fault of those people. I don't call fault of those people are ignorant about what's required. They're not theoretical. They don't know what's right and what's wrong. What should be done, what should not be done. It's not their fault. Fault is about awareness. Awareness is very important. If you see, when us go to Gulf countries and see how those owners who spend money, they want to see their buildings quality one, well designed and within budget. Here, if you want to see in our country, if you go, they don't bother about quality. They even say, oh, no problem, it will do. That's the difference. Design and quality are related together, because design and quality result into execution or prosecution into construction. If design excellent, you can say design is excellent, but quality is not excellent. Quality of design as well as quality of prosecution of that work, you cannot say you can do that work according to what was designed in, or as mind of that designer wanted or intended to be done, because designer won't be present site full time, maybe once or twice visit site. You can't, as a designer, guarantee I supervise everything. So point lies in, means if design say is very good, quality system is very good, but implementation of both is defective, what to do, what to say can't be answered. It's a very big question mark, where I always talk of, and I always expect designers, I always expect them, appeal to them, take care about constructability, because execution is construction. Constructability, if you do not know, if you do not give value to constructability, construction person involved, site engineer or contractor or contracting engineer or supervision engineer, they cannot deliver what was intended by your design. There is a silent dealing. Designer cannot live by just delivering a package of designs to site people. That designer is bound to make sure that to whomever design is being delivered, those people should do that, must do that. That's where point lies in. But there may be many other legal points. This designer say, what can I do? It's beyond my capacity, beyond my control, beyond this and that. Disclaimer is issued. But what's the purpose of disclaimer if your design is not done? If your design is not done, nothing is achieved. It's done according to contractor. It's done according to site person, not according to design engineer. There could be any mismanagement there, disorganization there while fixing something on site. That's what I say. It's to be considered in combination of everything. That's what we have to do. If we can do that way, I appreciate in that case. Yes, it is good or not good. It should be done. But generally, there is something you can say to be defined, to be understood. We cannot take everything for granted. We cannot take everything for granted. It is to be understood well. We have many divisions in our buildings as well. As I was in the starting I said soil. Soil, though it is not considered by engineers very seriously, but it is very serious, and people do not give any value to engineering of soil. Particularly owners of building, they do not understand what this person is talking of soil. What soil is soil? Good, very good soil. I'm saying, see, it's good. So many buildings are standing here in this area and see, it's a good soil. That's why buildings are standing. Yes, they are right. That's why buildings are standing. But there is no guarantee that this soil on which your building is going to be sited, that is good. How can you guarantee that? You need soil analysis. You are required to do soil analysis. That is important. But you are not doing that. You are not interested in that. Then who will be interested in that? I don't know why it's not coming further. Okay, well, I continue. If it's not recorded while I already upset, try again what to do. Let me finish it how much I can, and then I will not take much time today because it's only 4:09. I'll take a few minutes more, so 1.5 hours I'll go back and see if it's done. Then I'll do. If it is God is well, I'll do. Otherwise, it's a waste of time. The signal problem, no problem. I am not. I'm seeing in this log that there's something wrong. No, even that I'll continue now. So when I say soil, and in my many last professional videos, I talked of soil, and soil is material number one. Yes, it is material number one, which imports attention number one. It's no joke. It's no joke. It's very important. Soil is very important to be analyzed and understood, because future of your building lies on soil. If something wrong in soil, it will affect whole building. It will affect whole occupants. So soil is considered number one. Do not ignore it. If you ignore it, everything shall become mistaken. You want everything to be missed? Soil is going to give you base for building. Soil is giving to be troubles in future. Soil is having many chemicals. It may be having different layers, strata. It may be having moisture and water within this. It may be having many types of organic materials in this, and many more, you can say. In that case, it can cause immense problem to your building structure as well as finishes. That is where we say soil is considered very, very important material. It is material indeed, but some people do not consider it material. If you talk to some contractor or someone, oh, what is this? I'll take it out, excavate and fill same one day. Backfill same one day. It's not fault of those owners. I do not say. It's like same thing. I'm a doctor. You're a patient. You asking me something. I won't answer to you because you can't understand. I will just say simply, this is your problem. This is your treatment. Your injection or surgery or your this. You can't question doctor because you don't understand that. But here, you know how building is moving. You don't know how surgery is being done. Surgery is secret for you. Medical treatment is secret for you. So you do not know what to question. You can just ask how it happens, how this happens. That explains to you. Don't worry. You take this medicine, it will be okay. But here you argue. Because you know soil, you know material, you know everything. Everything is visible to you. And you have your own methods. Because every person who does not know engineering ABCD, that person is a promoter, that person is a builder, that person is a contractor, that person, of course, masons know something better than builder, and carpenters also know something better than builder and owner, because they are technicians. I call them technicians. I don't call them labor because they are not labor. I respect these people because without them I cannot move. Without masons, without helpers, without carpenters, without welders, without steel fixers, means whatever, whoever are involved in construction of building, I cannot move without them. So I depend on them. They are my machine parts, you can say. Building I consider as a machine. I do not consider something else. Building is a permanent machine. Your machine which you buy from market, they may work for 5 years or maximum 10 years. Your car may work for 5 years. Your lathe machine can work for 5 years. And then you can say you may have to change it, or you have to do something else for this, or buy a new one, replace that one. But this building is meant for many, many decades. 50 years, 100 years, depending on sort of building is that, and what chemicals are there in this, and how did you construct that. It depends on life of building, is dependent on your efforts and material types and design types and construction types and soil types. So it's a machine, it's a permanent machine which is based on many functionaries. It is many souls in that. It's many actions on that, loads on that, you can say. You may not see those loads, even engineers cannot see those loads, but they know these loads act, and they evaluate those loads and those actions in designs, and then they define something, what sort of building you need, what sizes of elements you have to do, how much steel you have to add, and what thickness you have to add, and all this is a part of engineering. So that is what I call machine, and how these actions are acting on columns and beams and your stresses in slabs and whatever foundations or diaphragms or whatever you call them, whatever members of building or structures are, how they share that part of load, moment, direct load, movement, wind load, seismic load, water load, thermal load, shock load, and whatever you can say. That is what is required to be understood and analyzed, and it is analyzed actually by engineers. They consume a lot of time in even those softwares are available, but you have to understand what software answers, and that's very important point. And these points every person cannot understand, they know, yes, there is some design like that. They talk as if it's secondary one. They talk, oh yes, there's a design. They don't understand what is there. They don't understand this. Okay, fine, do it. Means for them, what they see is more important. You can't see steel in slab or the columns after building is made, a structure is done. And so you don't, oh, see, good surface is there, good finishes there, good plaster and paint. What your eyes can see, you should depend on that. So building is very good. Elevation is very good. Elevation doesn't mean building is good. Size doesn't mean building is good. That is visible. Visibility doesn't define building is good. Yes, beautiful elevation, what a view it is, what angle it is, how is Taza, that is only architectural beauty or aesthetic beauty. It's not real strength beauty. Strength is more important than all these. The strength, just this person having strength, this Pelvan is having a strength, there's a strength in building from top to bottom, and that's where we understand. We cannot, what I say, contractor won't say, contractor is something else. What I say, builder won't say, there's a difference. His line is only what he learned by view or by doing. My line is different. I know till root of tree and even soil within which root is embedded or grown. I know section of tree, trunk of a tree. I know endogenous and exogenous trees. What do they mean? I know how many layers can be there. Means I have to know thoroughly. Right? That's where I say study is different. If I say, no, I constructed 50 buildings, see, I have done well. You constructed 50 buildings based on some documents. Did you create those documents? Do you know what is about those documents? You are a contractor. You are a builder. You are a promoter. You may be a foreman, but you are not technically sound person. You are technical only in some procedures. For example, foreman is technical in some procedures, carrying out certain methods. But you cannot expect that person, provided that person is not qualified. If that person, some people are there who are well educated, diploma or degree, and they sometimes work as foreman. I'm not talking about it. I call them foreman engineer. That's different one. But exclusive foreman who got no qualification or school going qualification, by virtue of experience one gets a position of foreman. That foreman cannot define what is engineering. That person knows what is construction. So here is the difference. Construction, engineering and construction are different. Construction is what you see, what you view when some building is done. That's construction. Construction doesn't mean construction engineering. Construction engineering has a behind something. Back of this something is a design, planning, safety, and method of designs and method of construction. Which materials you are going to use, what sort of parameters the material should have, how you have to do this, define your methods, define the process, all that you have to do. That is where we say engineering is required. So construction and construction engineering are different subjects. Sole construction means only something you have to do on site. where foreman is involved, the builder is involved, and even owner is involved, who want progress. They want progress of construction. They don't want to know about how it has been designed, though they have to pay for that, but they are not interested in that. How it was planned, something. I want this in time, give me in time, and that's it. If you delay, I will put you behind bar, I'll punish you. Something like that. I'm just joking, I'm not saying that, but their interest is promotional. Interest of an owner is promotional, commercial. That wants to make money. Contractor has to complete contract, get money and go. Interests are different. Contractor's interest is not your interest. Contractor interest is confined to contractors. Promoter's interest is to make money. How many percentage of this investment go get is return? That's what's point there. But engineer cannot say that, because engineer has background of engineering which is much more critical than commercial activity as well as profit activity, or you can say physical activity. There is no physical activity behind construction engineering. Mental activity your mind works in, that lies there in. Not easy. Believe me, it's not easy. It's very cruel. Use of mind, complete immersion into that process. For example, safety, you think it is easy? No, it's not easy. Quality, you think easy? No, it's not easy. You think tendering is easy? No, it's not easy. Designing easy? No, it's not easy. You take any discipline of engineering, it's voluminous, which all combined together is called organizational management. People call management, I don't call it management, it's called organization. And every discipline is further organized. Organization and sub-organizations. And discipline, you are expert in which discipline? You are expert in designs, or you are experts in planning, or you are expert in safety, or expert in quality, or experts in tendering, or expert in supervision, or you are experts in execution, you are experts in coordination, you are experts in this and that, depends on what. Procurement is very difficult, not joke. Complete handover is not joke. There are so many ways we can define background or behind construction engineering. But behind construction, only physical activity. You need material, you need resources, you need human resources, all that. Do it finished. You know drawing, you know how to read drawing and do it. That's it. You can't even coordinate. Those who do construction, they can't coordinate. But construction engineer can coordinate. There's a difference of this. You understand that? That's why I say engineering and construction are different. Pure construction is not engineering. Construction engineering is engineering. Clear answer. So when I say construction engineering, it is professional, and we say, oh no, it's only construction, that is builder work or that is contractor work. If you take professional contractor, that is contract, that's not construction. That's a difference. If you talk of a contract as a professional one, who's taking for example lump sum contract, an EPC contract, you cannot say that's a construction contract. Construction contract is also EPC or something, but there's a difference. That is package construction, where everything is involved in. And construction also, construction is generally called construction contract. Actually, in short, we say construction contract, but that is not construction. That's a construction engineering contract. That's a difference. For example, you get a car. Who produces that car, that company? You think there's only industrialist? That is engineering industry. That is called engineering, automobile engineering industry, or plane engineering industry, aircraft engineering industry. You can say that way. So that is different definition. Sometimes we speak in short. It doesn't mean that short, long has gone. Long has not gone. Short is there. So my dear friends, it was just a revisit of my video, and I don't want to take much time. I just thought to stop at 1 hour 30 minutes, and it's now 1 hour 29 minutes. I'll come back next time and I just wanted to reintroduce myself today, and so that you know, I have shown you my these charts and certificates. That's okay, fine. That's my identification. You know, you should know who's talking to you. That's very important. And now uh, I would I will try to continue these types of videos, maybe probably morning time or afternoon time, as it suits, depending on my health. Morning is very cold, even though no problem. I can try, say you know, 4 o'clock to sometimes 7 o'clock, something like that. I'll see how best it can be done. Now I spoke very general today in this. I just say a couple about systems, about what's been done. It's nothing entire that I've done today. It's very small we have done. We'll see how best we can perform it now, and therefore I would say, alright, it's fine. It's life like that. We can't change it. Life can't be changed this way. So I'll close it today, and I'll be back with you again. Thank you very much, my dear friends. I'm closing it now, and with this I close it, and that's it. Okay.